They're really treating it like a threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Wanna be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Spots is taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow
quality entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost him with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local clown.
I was just fucking kidding when I said
Len came to the show waiting room and he's like, "All right, buddy, let's get this thing started." I said, "Okay, yeah."
No, I can quote it, man, but it's whatever.
Good to see everyone. Len, good to see you too, buddy. Welcome back to the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast here on the eve of Truth and Reconciliation Day. Len, the most obvious question here: what are you doing to reconcile?
Yeah, I got a tennis match scheduled tomorrow at 9:30.
Are we?
No, it's for me. I am mentally at one with myself when I do that. So all the things that happen to the human race, to individuals, it just washes off me, and I feel cleansed after that. It's my ritual, my spiritual cleansing, so to speak. Yes. What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm going to, I don't know, probably I have to go see our friend Tuan tomorrow, which I'll talk about, maybe during the 256 Heat ad. So I'll go see him tomorrow. I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow as well, since, that seems like the right day to do it. And that's about it. I don't know. I really have nothing special planned. Do something with my daughter and my wife, I guess. And tomorrow night I will be, the guest of honor at my own birthday dinner, which passed recently. So I will be going to my in-laws for a bite to eat tomorrow night.
I hope you're the guest of honor. Your own fucking right. Whatever. Well, that's good. Are you going to be cleansed after that? Is your conscience going to be clear?
My conscience is clear. I have
your conscience is fine. Like you don't have something burdening you.
No, I have many thoughts on that I won't share on the show, but you can guess what they are on this, Truth and Reconciliation Day. But anyway, let's talk about the sponsors and we'll get into the program. EasyDNS is the best place for you to buy a domain, host a domain, port a domain. Mark is a good friend of the show. Was actually here on Friday. Him and I did a podcast and went out for lunch at the Collins in Dundas. Very quality program because Mark is a very quality guy. And if you're looking for something to help you get your business off the ground, website, blog, you want to host a podcast, whatever, Mark and EasyDNS can take care of that for you. They do it for us. They do it for Access of Easy. They do it for hundreds of thousands of other people. I think hundreds of thousands. I don't know how many clients they have, but a bunch of clients. And there's no better place to host for a few reasons. One, because it's secure. You can get easy mail, domain share, a couple extra bucks, lock down your data, lock down your client list, lock down all those things. Second is it's uncensorable. Mark will not take you down. He's talked about this. We've talked about it. And, with stuff going on in the UK now and Canada, probably not far down the line, you want to have someone like EasyDNS backing you up. And then third, obviously, Len, before it was cool, taking Bitcoin and using Bitcoin as a treasury asset. We love that. You guys love that. So go over to EasyDNS. CBP Media is the code and get 50% off your first cart, your first round of buys. That's what we do for you here at the show. Who's the other sponsor?
Bull Bitcoin. Great place to buy, sell your Bitcoin. I don't know what the price is. Whatever the price is, it's a good time.
115, 114, something like that. It's a good day today.
All right, there you go. So in Canuck bucks, I have no idea what that would be. 160-ish, give or take, whatever the heck it may be. You could do your buys and sells on Bull Bitcoin. They have your security and privacy in mind. Just listen to the team, listen to them talk, listen to Francis, and you'll understand what the ethos is over a Bull Bitcoin. You do on-chain, you could do Lightning. I haven't checked the on-chain fees, but I still think they're rather cheap last I checked. So
they're low.
Continually do those, but once they do creep up, which eventually will happen, at least you could do something with Lightning over there. You could do limit orders. You could pay people with your Bitcoin. It ends up in fiat through the e-transfer. You could buy gift cards. You could pay your bills with Bitcoin. So many things you could do with them. They're available in Canada, Western Europe, Costa Rica, Argentina. Did I miss anywhere? Anywhere.
I don't think
Anyway,
so. Yeah, that's pretty
I
good.
think I covered it all. Check it out. Use our link below if you haven't yet signed up to them. If you haven't, what the heck are you waiting for? And if you do sign up using our code, all your buys in perpetuity are going to be a little bit cheaper. So you might as well do it. Check them out.
Yeah.
And they're non-custodial. I forgot to mention they are non-custodial.
No rug pulls allowed over on Bull. And then obviously the third sponsor, Canadian Bitcoin Conference. I will be the MC at that conference this year. We have a packed agenda full of really high quality speakers, really high quality content. I know one of you guys said that there was too many suit coiners in the speakers list. I disagree. I think there's a lot of good Bitcoiners who have recently sort of come into their own as voices in the space. You may disagree with stuff like the treasury strategy stuff, but these people are still Bitcoin hodlers, even if they hodl other things as well. And I think the conference is going to be quite good. Not to mention, Len, all Canadian content, more or less, which is really, really nice. Tomorrow night, you can come to this too if you want, Len. I don't know what you're up to, but at 8:30, I think, 7:30 or 8:30, me, Dan Carlin, Joe Barbuto, the Econ Longwave, and his usual Spaces host, Joe Rampart, are going to be doing a space on Canada, Bitcoin, the conference, all these different things, to try and get people hyped up for the conference, number one, but also because I think there's a lot going on in Canada, and there's a bunch of people who understand something is happening, but maybe don't understand that Bitcoin can help you navigate these tumultuous waters. And so we're trying to get people involved and interested in all this stuff. So we are excited about all of this, and we hope to see you guys there tomorrow night. I think it's in my Twitter profile. I'll pin it right now just in case it's lost in the sauce there.
Name the suit coiners that are showing up to the. I guess I don't want to go back to this.
Jeff Walt, one that people don't like because he's a MSTR guy. There's a few others too. Jeff Walton, punter Jeff. He's a young fella from the States who's really been on this MSTR.
Is he the British dude?
He's not British. He's American. And he actually was a college punter and has a video on YouTube of him punting it, I think 67 yards. Pretty good.
How come he's not in the pros if he's punting it that far? That's what's the hang time?
I mean, you gotta punt it that far every time to be in the pros. But that's a pro level punt. That's
good accuracy. Hang time is another one. Like Reggie Roby was famous for out kicking his return team.
Out kicking your coverage. Out kicking your coverage. Yeah.
He was the only guy that would wear a watch when he kicked the ball, and he used to make fun of him. He used to look at his watch when kicking. He just didn't care about it.
I know a lot of you guys in the chat here saying Jeff is a good guy. I think he is too. And yeah, he's in shape for sure. I'm looking forward to meeting him and a few other people that I've done appearances on other shows with and talked to on Twitter and DM'd with. And Jeff and I have our disagreements, but I think one of the things I try and do, and I think you try and do this too, Len, you can kind of tell if someone's pure of heart, if they're a con man, scammer. And we talk about scamming all the time on the show. And I do not think that he is a scammer. I think he's a good dude. So I'm looking forward to that. And you guys should be too. So join us tomorrow night. Get a ticket to the conference. We don't have a promo code or anything, but if you haven't picked up a ticket yet, you ought to. It's going to be a great time in Montreal, October 16th, 17th. And I mean, probably part of the 18th too, if you stay up late enough on the 17th at the end of the conference.
When does it start?
Getting a few beers. It's Friday the 16th.
It's Thursday 16th.
Oh, Thursday 16th. Yeah, sorry. Oh, so is it 17th and 18th? I don't know. I should know the date of the conference, obviously, but
I think it's 16, 17, 18. That's the number that comes to mind. It's not just
I don't think it's not 3 days. It's not 3 days. Everyone should be going to the website anyways, and looking at the agenda because there's going to be a lot of good talks. Mark and I are doing one on Bill C8, which is in the news these days. I'll be up there as well 16, with 18. Yeah, Thursday to Thursday. Yeah, but Thursday night there's not really too much going on. It's like a business / corporate event on Thursday night, plus a little bit of a bar meetup too. So
starts at 1 p.m. on Thursday. They have a decentral workshop going on there.
Yeah. So the conference proper starts Friday. It's Friday and Saturday.
So go check. I mean, if you can check out that decentral workshop. They used to partner up with us, and I like them, and I still have my
same.
It's just hashing away.
Look at the size of
although
that.
The screen is not working that well these days. Sometimes I just have to tap it to make it work. Other than that, like it still does its thing. I could check the pool and all right. Boost.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, Boost. You know what? This was an odd one because we got a bunch of people writing in with the same amount of sats. I'll explain. So wartime twice, 133 sats. First one, he writes in, a lot of people used trade ogre. Sorry. If I had anything there, it was some shitcoins from years ago that I don't care about. Laugh out loud. And Wartime also writes in 133 sats. He says, a degen birdie told me a little secret. Use liquid if you are willing. Sorry, if you're swing trading USDT, atomic swap, self-custody, no exchange risk. Still level of trust when you're dealing with any of those. With Bitcoin, trust is all you. And I like that. That's the one I choose. And yeah. Even Lightning, it's still, say what you want about it. It's a pre-signed 2 of 2 multi-sigs. And so you could, anytime you could get out of it by just closing the channel and going from there. So
yeah,
it's still Bitcoin.
Totally.
Top W Cone writes in twice, 250 sats. First one, it's a 2-part message. And he writes in, we also see a lot more. Sorry, he says, I got it wrong. EMSs, some places are part of FIRE. He says, have the highest non-combat rate of PTSD. We see here, smell, touch, and are part of some of the worst moments in person's life. There is no normal shift, interrupted sleep. If you get any, no meal breaks, no stopping to rest. Worst is the swing in calls. First run, old man slid out of a recliner, lift assist. Then short of air, 21-year-old anxiety attack. Then 4-year-old drowning, 57-year-old injured, toe possible gangrene. Can't believe that happens these days.
Yeah.
19-year-old fever, overdose, 37-year-old club, blah, blah, blah. He says, go home and fall asleep for 4 hours and go back to work. We are hiring. Paramedics start 18 USD per hour.
It's not much.
That's his number one. He says, we also see a lot more combat troops. I'm an Army Reserve member. This guy's been doing a lot for the U.S., and he had 8 deployments since 2002.
Wow.
He's been an EMT/paramedic in his civilian job since 97. He sees more gunshot wounds in EMS than in the military. I could believe that in the States especially, and a lot more dead people. Many of those I was actively trying to save. The movie Code 3, never heard of it, is very close to what we do. And Bring Out Your Dead by Nick Cage is in it. Another movie I never heard of, Bring Out Your Dead, show a lot of the emotional side of the job. So, yeah, there you go.
EMS, yeah. First of all, thank you for your military service. I mean, I'm not an American, but God knows you guys are doing more to protect this country than we are. So thank you for that. It's a difficult job. I think a lot of EMS guys are underselling the difficulty that they have at work. And like I think I said this on the show. This is obviously talking about what we discussed last week. I think about how when EMS guys, fire department, EMS, whatever, get to a scene, he describes it so well there. He or she describes it so well there. The idea that you're going to see everything, on the radar from call to call, including some of the worst things possible. And it's weird, right? I think people are talking more and more about the toll that seeing a dead body or a death does on your brain. Your brain's not wired to see death every day. And whether it's on Twitter or in person, it's too much. It's too much. And, in person specifically, and probably a lot more acutely, you notice changes probably in the way you think and view things and the way you view going to work and thinking about work and all that. So I don't envy it, but it's a job that someone's got to do. And I'm glad that we have good people doing it here and in the States as well.
And Jared, 10,000 sats. Thank you. Quite a bit of
Shout out to you, man.
As someone who spends about 1/3 of the week on healthcare problems, this is a must listen. Fantastic rip, Joey. And this is with your rip you did last week.
Yeah, I'm proud of that show. I got a lot of good feedback on that show. Thank you, Jared, for your feedback as well. Healthcare, man, in this country it's the problem isn't that it's necessarily bad. It's not bad for everybody 100% of the time, but the big problem is that it seems to be bad when you need it the most. And I appreciate and understand that it may feel that way, because if your situation is dire, you may find yourself thinking that if I don't get help, then I'm not going to make it, or my life is going to change or be irreparably damaged or whatever. But I think, there's more to it than that. And again, I'll point to my own situation. I mentioned on the show, I've mentioned it here before. I just tore an ACL at the end of July and had the operation before the end of August. Why? Because I was able to use some of my own capital to get the imaging done and cash in on some connections to get the surgery done. And I think that a lot of people, with money would do that. and help clear some of the backlog in the system for people who can't. And Mo and Brian brought up great points on that show, specifically though, that this ideology, this idealism that Canadians have about healthcare is misplaced. And the idea that we have about how two-tier healthcare will only benefit the rich is false. The rich are not doing anything anyways that's going to impact the healthcare that poor people get. I'm not rich by any stretch. I have, a little bit of money thanks to Bitcoin, but for me to even do something like that, I would do that every time. I would do it for my daughter, my wife, members of my family, but I'm not allowed, or they don't want to even. My father just waited 9 months for an MRI, and it's like people have to realize this is happening, because as Mike Campbell says, and as we mentioned on the show, the thing about Canadian healthcare is that it's not something you really understand until you're, until it's got you by the balls, right? Until you're a victim in that system. And if you can't advocate for yourself, if you get picked up by an ambulance and you don't have family, or your family's out of town or out of country, like that's not the place you want to be with this healthcare system. So anyway, yeah, Mo is a guy that I've known now for a little while. He actually joined the CBP Dry January Telegram group, and that group kept 4 people in it that we talk almost every day, if not every day. And so, having his views there, he's a guy who's super bright, doing a lot of great stuff, trying to get private care going in Canada and a few provinces. Dr. Brian Day, obviously just legendary. Before the show, I don't think Mo will mind me sharing this. Before the show, Mohammed was saying to Brian, like, I've never met you, but I know all about your work. We used to talk about your case studies and your efforts when I was in med school all the time, because everybody is thinking about this stuff and no one seems willing to champion it. And Dr. Day's done that. And so I was happy to have him on. Really glad he agreed. And I think you guys, if you haven't listened to it yet, you'll really enjoy it. You'll really enjoy that show.
All right. That's it.
So you got P-Man here. I need a knee replacement. The doc told me when I actually decided to do it, he said it's minimum a year. It's funny. Like my I don't know how old you are, P-Man, but my father-in-law just had a hip replacement and basically went from diagnostic to surgery in like 7 weeks, because they decided that diagnosis was like more urgent here in Ontario. I live in Southern Ontario, and so it's busy as all hell here. But like there's some, and we talked about this on the program too. I think I mentioned it to you at Workland. And so the idea of like, that like there's an opaque rubric somewhere that tells people what they can expect when it comes to care, but you're not allowed to see it. I think I said this to you. I'll say it to you guys if you haven't listened yet. Dr. Day tried to get these rubrics from provinces. What is the safe wait time for people? He couldn't get it. He had to subpoena the courts, or had the courts subpoena, I think, British Columbia, and was able to get 1 year of data for some conditions, and that's it. 2017. Like it's really not fair. And yeah, P-Man, 61 is, that's about the right age to get a knee replacement if you need it. 61, 62, 63, right? It's supposed to last about 20 years. I feel for people like that, because presumably you've paid into the system your whole life and now you need it. And you're like, I got to wait a year. Meanwhile, don't get me started on who's taking up, ER resources and whatnot. And by the way, it's not just immigrants. It's like, if you go to the fracture clinic here in Hamilton, even if you have an appointment, because of the area that it's in downtown Hamilton. So if you get a break, you go see one of the surgeons there, whether it's Dr. Denkers or one of these other, big names in the city, you're getting usurped in line by DV victims and drug users and homeless, and like something will give at some point. And I fear that it's going to be civility more than it's going to be a change in the system.
No, it's not like that. You're not getting sideswiped. This happened all of a sudden. This is a continual change in the way things, you could change the way things are around you. And if you can't do that, just change the surroundings around you. And, that's your 2 options. Pick one of the 2, whatever works for you, and live with it. That's your options.
Totally.
All right. Let's talk about Bitcoin now, because this is the Canadian Bitcoiner podcast. And I think the big story we should lead off this week, there's a huge story, and the biggest one, I guess, this week, maybe even this cycle. And I'm surprised a lot of people still aren't really talking about it. It's the breaking the pro-Bitcoin candidate in Ivan Calderon in California launches his governorship over there. So he's going to be running for the Democrats. Breaking. This is fucking big news. And I'm so happy to see this. This is just, I was ecstatic. Anyway,
why is
this?
Okay.
I don't give a fuck. I a lot of people I finally have come to grip that the people that were spearheading this and trying to big announcement and all this shit, they fucking blocked the dude in the end. Like I muted him a long time ago. It just makes sense. And
talking about Dennis.
Yeah, it cleaned up my timeline, right? You don't need this fucking shit, right? But one thing I did learn from all this, this guy Ian Calderon might have a chance, may not. I don't give a fuck. It's even if he does, like, what's going to happen with Bitcoin? He's going to be like every other Bitcoin politician that's been around. Gavin Newsom's not running.
Yeah,
and the reason why he's not running is they have a 2-term limit in California. I thought he was going to run again, but
you know where you're seeing, where you see him next for sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
That may be the reason why he didn't run last time. He wanted to finish his tenure here and not be steamrolled in the last election to give him a shot to run the next one. Or who knows? Either way, he's not going to be the governor of California. This guy, Ian Calderon, has a chance. How big is it? Who knows? Who gives a shit? Breaking. Let's move on, right?
Yeah, I don't care about this. Love Dennis. I'm not an anti-Dennis guy, but this one I thought was a bit much.
That's never been any good news.
The guy's a relative unknown too, right? Porter's done some good stuff. He's pushed some legislation through, and you can put different values on that for sure. But I was a little disappointed because it's one thing to have a Bitcoin politician running, but it'd be nice if you were able to like tie your wagon to a horse that was known and had some firepower. This guy is, as far as I can tell, he's a relative unknown. Which when you add Bitcoin to your platform and no one knows your name, I'm not sure that helps.
He was the former majority leader in the state. So
let's see how it goes.
At least has some pedigree over there. But like I said,
I know a lot of state politicians, and you do too. And
do I?
Neither. Some of them, but neither of us have heard that guy's name before. So,
and we'll probably hear him a little bit more, and that's about it. Just disappear into the sunset. Like guys like Milei, right? Like what the fuck? That guy was supposed to be like pro Bitcoin, and what happened with him? Right?
Who, Isaac Milei?
Is it Isaac Milei? The guy
Javier Milei?
Javier, yeah.
The guy in Argentina.
Yeah, Mr. Milei.
Yeah, Javier Milei, yeah. With the hair, yeah, exactly.
He's again. Anyways, so
we
talk about something that's bigger. This Save Bitcoin with an alleged hard fork that's being proposed by at least allegedly proposed by Luke. The Rage came up with a hit piece, and they got their hands on some signal messages at that too, Joey.
I know.
From Luke. I don't know how they got their hands.
Screenshots.
Yeah. So
someone in the chat. Yeah.
It was a 2-person chat. Luke and the other person, whoever that other person was. Like Luke obviously lost trust in that person because who else would have gotten? Nobody intercepted it. And in the chat, like at least they're talking about or trying to make it look like there's going to be a change to Bitcoin through an essential hard fork as a way to save it, and just because of certain type of spam that is currently ending up on Bitcoin, and will potentially more of it will come in the future if there's some changes with consensus, with protocol. What's some of the things they're saying on the advice of Ocean's lawyers? They're saying, according to the article, the mining pool founded by Luke, this is Ocean, right? The Knots team decided it's better if the letter is not perceived to be coming from them. So they're trying to somehow saying that this whole spearheading of this hard fork would not be coming from Ocean and or Luke. Funny, I'm not sure if you took a look, but Udi of all people, the guy that Foss apologized.
I knew you were going to bring this up. Yeah.
There was an apology and it was accepted, which is interesting. Anyway, Udi of all people, he was defending Luke. He wrote a very lengthy piece both on X and on Stacker.news. And he's right in his assessment because, like, number one, sharing the private message is a piece of shit for doing that, right? Like, it's a private message between two people, right? There's some level of confidentiality between it. If you're going to break that, your word is your bond. Once you break that, you have nothing after that. Plus, when you take a screenshot of something, you're not getting the full scope of the conversation. You may be taking stuff out of context. And I'm not saying it's applicable here, but it's potentially applicable here. You need to know everything, the whole conversation before you could come to a conclusion. And there's good points here that Udi is making, that there's also disconnection between the texts and the message that is being portrayed in the article, in that there's a hard fork and this like there's no alteration of data on that's gonna be stored on Bitcoin. There's no BIP, there's no PR submitted, there's no nothing. It seems like it's just a smear campaign, a hit piece against Luke. Luke's made a lot of people upset over the years, and he continues to do that. He's got to watch himself.
Okay, where do you come down on this? Do you think that it's legit? I mean, I want to say conspiracy.
Hard fork? Hard fork?
Yeah, hard fork, I doubt. But I do think that Luke is probably trying to build consensus around something that is not the current iteration of Bitcoin.
Yeah, but it's not going to require a hard fork. Maybe a
no,
soft
no,
fork.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But
a hard fork,
like
here's two different.
Yeah, Boomer saying the same thing. Like this whole core versus NOTs thing has to stop. It's got to stop. Let people run what they want. Everything works. The whole point of the software is that it's interoperable, backwards compatible, all these different things. And if you run a node, then do whatever you want with that node. And we got to stop talking about this. We have to. There's a lot of stuff going on that Bitcoiners should be like united about. And instead we're wasting our time. Like I see like Mechanic and Lavera and Luke Dasher, whatever, like all these people talking.
These are people in Bitcoin.
Nick Szabo coming out of retirement. Like who?
So these are all people within Bitcoin.
Michael
Saylor, you tell the fucking rage to stop fucking doing this. Because if it's somebody in Bitcoin, they have a vested interest, they're working on it, there's shit like that. Now you have this third party come in and write an article that has no connection.
Len, do you realize that this is like the fourth probably week out of the last 5 or 6 where we've talked about something that the Rage released?
But it was on Axis of Easy we were talking about.
Well, whatever. These guys are suddenly everywhere. I had never heard of these guys before 2 months ago. Had you?
No, and if we weren't doing Axis of Easy, we probably hear them for the first time this week.
Yeah. So like where did these guys come from? Who are they talking to get private messages from people in screenshots? Like that's a good connection to have. So I'm curious, like there's a lot of things here that they make me think twice about who's doing what and who's on what team. And I have never been more sure that there are people working for governments, rival projects, trying to sabotage Bitcoin at the social layer, and maybe now also at the technical layer as well. I think that's probably a safer bet than it's ever been.
Do you think this is going to stop, or is this going to end here?
It's definitely not going to end here.
Right.
There's too many. Like the reason is because
we'll hear the same thing.
Yeah, and like I love that. I love the passion, Mechanic, and all these other guys. But like you guys just need to fucking go to the gym and fuck your wife and do whatever else, and like just get your annoying conquering urge out some other way besides subtweeting at people, taking screenshots of people's tweets because you don't want to mention them, saying hey, you conveniently did this. You seem to have forgotten about that when you're tweeting at people. It's annoying. And again, like one of my biggest problems with Bitcoin has been and will continue to be just the absolutely like hilariously low levels of testosterone with some of these people. You don't see this when you have other ways to get these conquering urges out. And to me, it's like obvious what's going on here, but that's my personal view.
Have you ever heard the theory? I saw it sort of thrown around. I don't subscribe to it, but a lot of this is just being done for monetary reasons.
Tell me more.
Well, putting out YouTube videos.
You're talking about just getting clicks, like really
right. And I don't subscribe to this theory.
Okay.
I believe that they actually believe in this, and they're not doing this for patting their pocketbook.
If Mechanic puts out another hour-long video, he's gonna start to look like fucking David Koresh. Like there's no need to keep on putting out these like hour-long talking to the camera. There's just no need.
You Mechanician? Is that what
branch Mechanicians? But like I don't know how much longer we're going to be putting up with this, honestly. But whatever. Yeah, Guillaume, I see your comment there. Regardless of anything, I'm on the right team. Yes, same. Well, if Bitcoin hard forks, what's the adoption rate going to be? 0.03%, 0.01%. It'll be no one.
Correct.
I want to hear like there's people whose opinion, by the way, that I would care about for something like this. Like, you know, I'm biased, but like if Francis had a half-hour video on core versus not, I'd probably watch it. He's been around. He's got some technical competence, understands the economics of Bitcoin, runs a Bitcoin company. Like, yeah, I would listen to him. I would listen to even to a guy like Paul Stork, who's, you know, I don't necessarily agree with drive change, but I think he's a guy who's not a con man, and doesn't need the money probably. Like he's running his own kind of whatever research and development operation. Like he doesn't need the cash. I'd listen to him.
Don't say that, because sometimes greed.
Maybe listen. It's not a bulletproof explanation. I know.
Correct. Okay.
Thank you, but it's not
okay,
like, you know what I'm saying. There are some people I'd listen to. Like, do you have anyone that hasn't chimed in where if they put out a half-hour video, you'd be like, yeah, we should watch that? No.
You know what? I like listening to all sides. I attend the spaces.
I see you in there. I see you in there.
I listen to, because I want to hear all sides of them, and I don't agree. And I said this before, I don't agree with anybody in entirety. Like anybody in this earth, I will point out that I have a different viewpoint on something. And even on this, like somebody may have a viewpoint, and I will agree with it mostly, but maybe not 100%. I think that I'm more on the not side of things.
Do you run knots?
Well, there's no,
you're node.
I run both. I
Okay.
run both of them, because again,
okay. You don't run core 30. You run core 29 or something.
27
right?
or 26, whatever.
Okay.
26.
But you're back. Yeah, you're going backwards. Okay. And we should be clear. Like you've mentioned this to me before, and maybe you've mentioned it on the show, but you're not running 30 because of the spam. You don't run the newest version because you want to see the kinks worked out. You go with the latest, stable, tested, battle tested version. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so there's going to be a point in time I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I run 29 or 30? So that's going to be a few years from now, a couple of years.
Maybe you can make an hour-long video about it in your basement. You'll fit right in.
No, I'm not going to, because
we need the plays. We need the plays. Get the plays. I'll make a thumbnail of you looking surprised, tying a knot around something, and it'll be good.
Look at my shoe. I'll tie the shoe that has the flappy thing. But whatever you are, just doesn't really matter as long as you're running a implementation. It's better than not. So Boomer's saying he won't be running version 30 now.
The long and short, by the way, before you go into this, sorry, I see P-Man in the chat asking this. I'm sure people who listen don't dig into this. If you don't learn anything technical about knots versus core, the problem is that there's one version of this that lets you kind of, the node respecting version where you can pick what your node propagates and quote unquote prevent spam. And then the other version, core, it doesn't just not have that. It actually takes it away in version 30. So it's restricting the things you can and can't do with your node as far as, what some people would call spam transactions.
And that's a bullshit move.
I think so too. Taking it away is nuts. Yeah, taking it away is nuts.
Give people an option. If they don't run it, make it non-default. And if somebody wants to default into it, all the more power to them. But rather just saying you can't do it, I think that's a rather bullshit move, if you ask me. And it's getting very close to being finished, because there was another release candidate that came out today. I remember reading. So they're on I guess a few weeks away, maybe a month or so away from version 30 coming out. And then it's going to be off to the races. It's going to be fun to see exactly what happens at that point. It's a lot of fireworks and shit like that. But
yeah.
SBF did a tweet. I don't give a shit about that. I'm not sure you do.
Why did he tweet that?
It wasn't him.
Good morning. Did it say GM?
GM.
Is that what it said?
Yeah. A lot of people
when I tweet GM in the morning, there's like 20 bots that reply GM Joey with like suns and coffees and all sorts of stuff.
Did he not send you one?
He didn't send me one. Sam, no, he didn't send me one.
So it's not from him apparently. This is from. It's not known if the account was hacked or not, because it's the X bio now reads SBF's words bracket mostly. And it says shared by a friend. That's what it says on the X account. So
it's like Thomas Sowell quotes on Twitter now, sending out anti-immigrant tweets all the time. I don't remember Thomas Sowell saying that.
So it's possible this could have been hacked.
Maybe.
Right? Yeah. There's a slight possibility. We know somebody that had their X account hacked this past week.
We do?
Yeah, I don't want to say it. It was in one of the chats we were part of, and we'll leave it at that.
Then the Lords?
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. And then also if that guy also got his SEC. Remember they're fucking they control everything with trading, but they can't even deal with a fucking X account. So this could be potentially they got hacked. The FTT token went up 50% after he tweeted. I still can't believe people own that fucking shit.
That's a legendary move.
Just
it's a
fucking
legendary
close the door to this bullshit. See you later. Anyways, anything else you want to mention on this SBS bullshit?
Not really. I guess I'll just note that a man tweeting from jail is not a man whose tweets you should be listening to. That's a general rule. Safe to say? I think it's safe to say. Here we go. Okay, well, now we're talking about it. Who's in jail? Whose tweets would you want to see if they were in jail? O.J. Simpson, R.I.P.
He's gone.
He'd be a good one to follow, though.
Maybe, but he's now gone. I don't know. Yeah. There may be somebody that that would be, depending on the jurisdiction, right? He could have been put, or she could have been put away for a crime that you don't agree with.
Yeah, I guess.
Right, and so maybe you want to listen to that person.
I'm not saying anything.
It's all theoretical.
This. Yeah. Okay.
So, and this is one that came out, and I can't believe this made fucking news. Is Circle? Those are the folks behind the USDC stablecoin. They are exploring the possibility of reversible transactions.
Shocker.
No, man.
Mark Goodwin vindicated again. There is literally nothing that Mark Goodwin has been wrong about in the last 2 years. Nothing.
Wait. But who would have thought that a centralized shitcoin that you can't mine, you can't verify transactions, you have no fucking say in the network whatsoever.
Yeah.
They have the potential of reversing transactions like Ethereum did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing here missing is that you don't have Vitalik going out there and saying, guys, stop trading. That's the only thing we fucking
the actual thing also missing is a picture of a president or prime minister on the note, right? It's the same as fiat currency here. It's very, very similar.
So what I'm trying to
get talked about this, by the way, Len, that the deputization of these companies, that they will, the government, like when you ask, the next logical question is who's going to want to censor a transaction? The answer is the government.
They have always had the ability to, not the government. I'm talking a U.S. or Circle has. Same with Tether. They've blacklisted wallet addresses in the past. Because it's centralized. There's a centralized body that can control whatever they want to do, and you have no say whatsoever. So I can't believe this made news, because anybody that didn't believe this, really, Joey, we've got that proverbial bridge to sell them, because how fucking dumb have those people been? This is just an indication why we like Bitcoin. You try reversing a Bitcoin transaction, it's not fucking happening. It just does not happen within Bitcoin. Once a transaction happens, it's done. For better or for worse, it's done. You can't piss off anybody to say, let's get this done, or this has been a hack, let's get this done. Like, no, man, that's fun. This USDC stuff, to me, it's just proving it's just centralized, but nobody should have been surprised by this. Nobody. And anybody that has, really, you were fucking dumb as shit. Anything got to add to this fucking thing?
No, I think you're 100% right. Some of this stuff was pretty obvious. You shouldn't, anything that has a centralized, that is centralized in nature as far as verification of transactions, doesn't require a blockchain. And the only reason you would have it on a blockchain is for buzz. But this stuff is just, it's so obvious to people who've been around more than a few years. But I guess still, Len, the people who are coming in now don't see it or don't care. One or the other has to be true. Circle's IPO was gangbusters too. So it's
way 2x or 3x. From the time that it was when. That's one of the few IPOs I saw that went crazy in the past while.
Yeah. So I don't know. Personally, I don't have to say this. People listen to the show all the time. I will be staying away from these things. Digital ID coin basically is what you're going to get if you participate in that kind of thing.
There's only Bitcoin, and everything else is just bullshit.
Everything else you're in the digital panopticon.
Now this whole Semler and the ASST stuff.
What a mess.
There's a new thing that came out just a little while ago, about an hour ago, from Predator. He says that this is very interesting. Semler had to pay the DOJ a fine for whatever they did. And the fine in which they got the money to pay for it, they got a loan against their Bitcoin from Coinbase, $20 million in cash. So they have no fucking Bitcoin. Essentially, they loaned their Bitcoin out to get cash to pay for a fine. That went out. And did you see the stock price for ASST? It just fucking tanked.
I believe it.
Like, was it 5 days?
I didn't look. I haven't looked at it, but I mean, at some point,
here it is. I'll give you the lowdown. It was on the September 11th. It was almost $9. It's now $2.30 right now.
Damn.
That's like 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks.
What's the lesson there?
Tell me what the lesson is. I'm curious what
I think the lesson is, number one, that you just don't, this is my personal view, like not financial advice, but if you're going to buy something like a company that does a Bitcoin treasury, right? Then you either buy the leader or you lose. So if you want to buy something that's like, if you want to do chips in the equity market, you don't buy Intel because it's cheaper to buy a share. You buy Nvidia at any price because they're the leader. And if you want to buy Bitcoin treasury companies, you don't fucking go buy Semler and NACA. You just buy MSTR if that's what you want. And it's not that hard, And I just think like people they're way overthinking this. We've said this on the show before. This is akin to buying alts and trying to, I'm buying alts to acquire more Bitcoin. Like it's the drone NPC line. Okay, well, this is what happens sometimes. You get Pledder out there. Like, by the way, is there any more focused autistic person trying to take down these companies than Pledder? Like, why would you ever buy a company where Pledder has you in your crosshairs? Why would you ever put money in that company? Pledder finds everything and 100% has people sending him stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some of this I would say like it's not all of his doing or her
for sure.
Or whatever. It's
for sure.
Yeah. Some people. Now you mentioned Intel. I'll have to go back to that. Do you think that it's a better buy now than something else because now U.S. government owns a stake in it, like 10%?
No.
Because now there's a vested interest for the U.S.
government.
To see this thing work,
yeah, but they're still not gonna.
So I'm wondering.
Yeah, and so I want to just talk about this SMLR. Semler actually had a cash business. They don't now. They're like that medical business is being unwound, and the Bitcoin is the target of the acquisition. So it's like what are we doing here, man? Is the sort of phrase I would use. Because really, I just don't know why you'd buy in these companies at this point, unless you're buying MSTR. They think you're going to hit it big. They think they're going to hit the lottery ticket. That's all it is.
It's what it is. You have these quote unquote big people in the space.
Yeah,
I'm just using the air quotes here.
Throw a couple names out.
Well, Predator came up with another one just today. I gotta go pull it up. I'm sorry.
Pull it up. Good content for the audio crowd.
He says this treasury company is not yet public, but a Twitter group for it has been created, and the entire moderation team is just a bunch of Bitcoin influencers.
Oh boy!
Safe to assume that these are insiders who will be dumping on you.
Livera.
Sam
Callahan, yeah.
Stefan Livera,
Yeah.
Eric Weiss. Those are the ones I could recognize, but there's other ones that you would probably recognize.
Send me the list. Send it to me. That's on Predator's feed. Let's look at it together. Why not? We got time here. People are watching and listening.
I retweeted it. So if you go to my account, it's like I only retweeted 2 things today, and that's the easiest one. I'm so inactive when it comes to Twitter with that stuff. So that just goes. That's what's happening. Is that people are big, like I call it, quote, big people in the space.
Anders too. Anders is another one.
Another one that he mentioned. Did you see like what Bitcoin did? I can't believe this is what Predator.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't believe we're talking so much about Predator. Predator, you're fucking great, by the way. I'm doing this to say like how great your account is. Anybody who hasn't followed Predator, PLETT, is that whatever the fuck it is?
PLEDDITOR. Yeah.
He was saying that what Bitcoin did, if you go look at their like last videos, it's all about treasury companies. Every single one.
Yeah. Danny's going to be like,
it's a shift. It's people are talking about it. We're talking about it. But I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, and anybody else in between, I don't fucking do this to try to shill them. I'm shilling fucking Bitcoin. Buy fucking Bitcoin. All this other stuff is total fucking fiat nonsense. It will just get you wrecked in the end. And this is why I'm talking about it. But I think a lot of other people talk about it with the point of fucking raising the valuation of that. So there's exit liquidity, and they can sell their shit, dump it on you, they make bank, and then you fucking get the bags, those heavy bags. That
You
have to
are
carry
the
for
exit
rest of your life.
liquidity. Yeah, you are the exit
That's
liquidity.
that's bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Like at least with Bitcoin, it may go up and down in price, but those are your UTXOs. You got them forever as long as you don't lose the keys. Nobody could take that. You could take it from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Ask nobody to move that stuff. That's beautiful. That's fucking Bitcoin. And that's why I tell people to buy it, nothing else.
Yeah, agreed. I mean,
Did you see that?
I still think that there's more pain to come in these treasury companies. Because they don't.
I don't really care.
There is like these guys all pump the like. Say what you want about Saylor, but that guy has a fortress underneath him, and these other guys just do not. They do not. And I don't think the average investor realizes that. The average investor certainly does not realize there's pump and dump groups waiting to sell their shares. Like,
didn't you tell me last week that, or 2 weeks ago, that there's a group of these individuals and they're saying the best strategy is for one company to buy shares in another?
That's one of the guys in the MSTR. I don't even know what they call it. It might be called MSTR 80IQ. Oh no, it's like MSTR Bulls, something like that on Twitter. It's the biggest group. I can't remember the name of the group, but yeah, there's the suggestion is we should have these companies just buy shares in each other.
That's bullshit. Like
that might be end of the scam.
I would love to know what's the rationale for this. Why this is a good move. I would love to know.
Like, it's obviously not. It's obviously
correct.
Not. Yeah.
And
by the way, MSTR doesn't have to do that. These other companies would be lucky if someone went about that. I said this to Mark in a voice note the other day too. Like, even if you are a big treasury company bull, okay, what happens when MSTR gets into the S&P? Because they will, and at the very least, they're going to get in before any of these other companies do. So what happens then? The company that you think is going to match MSTR and be the next MSTR, or the MSTR for this region, or it's the podcasters MSTR, it's PodConf approved MSTR, whatever, right? As soon as MicroStrategy gets onto the S&P, all these other companies are going to die, because the passive flows going into the S&P buying MSTR stock are going to give them the opportunity to really set outstanding terms on stuff like their prefs compared to these other companies. And you can't come back from that. There's already, I think, a slow but steady awakening about, like I said, the MSTR capital fortress. And once you have these guys on the S&P, like the risks, whatever risks there are significantly reduced once you add passive flows to the equation. And I don't understand what the end game is. If you're buying these companies but not buying MSTR, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. That's all there is to it. I mean, my co-host on the other side of the screen would say you're an idiot no matter what. If you're buying any of these companies, no matter which one you're buying, you're an idiot.
There's enough evidence to.
Glenn called me an idiot under his breath the other day. He thinks I didn't hear him. I heard him. We was talking about it.
Right. It's not like we didn't see that story of the lady that lost her parents.
Yeah.
And because that was locked up in RSP and shit like that. And you know what? $600,000 of inheritance gone for taxation. Hey man, you play in the fiat games, you're gonna win fiat prizes. So enjoy. And that's why I say, if you're gonna do it, like enjoy whatever is the result of all that.
Enjoy the pizza on Sailor's yacht, because you never know who's going to be on that yacht next year. Also, do these people not realize that their whole career is based on their likability? Like Callahan and Brunel are married, I think. I'm pretty sure that's who got married a couple of years ago. And it's like, you guys are only popular because you're likable. And if you remove that likability, you're going to find that no matter what you make on Bitcoin treasury companies, like you're going to have a worse time. And like your reputation, the older I get, the more I realize that your reputation is maybe the most important thing you have. So I personally, and I mean, me and you live by this. I'm not sacrificing my reputation for anything, no matter what. No matter what.
Talk about Brains.
Sure.
And those are the people behind Brains Pool, Stratum V2, and more. They just rolled out a new piece of hardware.
I love it. I want one of these things so bad.
It looks nice. It's called Brains Deck. 2 words, Brains Deck. Brains is BRAIINS. 2 I's in that, if people were wondering. It's a new piece of hardware that has integration with also the Brains Pool right out of the box. It lets you monitor the hash rate, rewards, tracks the price of Bitcoin in real time, accesses other macro insights, including stocks and more. So it's kind of like a block clock, but a little bit more. And let's be honest, it looks pretty slick, the Brains deck. And so does the block clock. I'm not going to shit on that because I have one and I like it. It does exactly what I need it to do. But for people who want to just track your hash rate on Brains, this is probably a good thing because, you know, you're getting the uptime. You could do custom sound alerts, change it when the difficulty changes, mempool, block height, a lot of more. There's more than you could do than just with the block clock. Right now, there's an early bird price of $199 USD. If you want to check it out on brains.com. Remember, Brains is with two I's. And if you use this, it's not my code, it's on their website. So I'm getting nothing from this. You get 5% off. The code is OG Miner, one word. You get 5% off using OG Miner. It's not my code, not ours. It's just simply there. Now, comparing the price, $199 for this. The block clock mini, which both of us have, is $399 as of yesterday, and the block clock micro is $189. So it's comparable to that in price. The micro is small. I'm not sure how big the Brains deck is, and if it's as small as the micro, then it's just, you know, pick your poison or pick which one you like. But if it's as big as the block clock mini, well, maybe the Brains deck is the better buy. It's because it's about half the price. Actually, even less than half the price with that 5% off. I like it. It looks pretty cool. Have you seen the size of it? I want to do a comparison.
I'm looking on the website there. There's like a side table that looks to be, I don't know, somewhere between like 10 and 14 inches in diameter, and it takes up probably 2/3 of it. So I don't think it's that small. I bet you it's a little bit shorter than the block clock. If I
have a picture of it with a hand, and you know what? It looks like it's a little bit smaller than probably a little bit smaller than the block clock that we have, but bigger than the micro. So it's closer to the block clock that we have, but not quite as big.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about the block clock that this thing definitely will not have is the fit and finish. The block clock has elite industrial design fit and finish. Elite. You will not find a better unit than that anywhere in the space. Certainly not for $199. I'll tell you that for sure.
The one thing I don't like about the block clock, the only thing I don't like about the block clock is if there's ever a power failure or something along those lines, the only way for you to get it back online, you got to turn it off and turn it back on. And for me, it's just disconnecting the power. Other than that, it just doesn't automatically check it out and try to reconnect for you. You got to physically, you know, disconnect it. Other than that, the thing is seamless. Like I don't have to do anything to it. I don't have to update it. It just fucking works. I do like the block clock. It's the fit and finish. You're right. It's solid. It's other than that, that's the only fucking gripe I have about it. And so how often does my power go out? It's very infrequent. So other than that,
for sure. Yeah, it's super rare, if at all, right?
But yeah, check this out. Like if you do want something like to like monitor Bitcoin price and you want a talking point, you don't want to shell out the money that you will for the block clock, definitely check out the Brains deck. It looks pretty damn cool. And this is the early bird price. It's going to go up in value once it gets released to the wild. So you know, check it out. Fuck, maybe we could get somebody from Brains to come on and just showcase it to us.
Yeah,
we've had somebody on their show come on not too long.
We definitely did. We had at least one or two people over the years.
Czech guy, I forget his name. Pavel. Yeah. Fuck. Anyways,
no.
All right, let's talk about the SEC. Their chair Akins trying to get this innovative exemption to fast track crypto products.
We're getting rid of the laws, baby. We're going Wild West out there. Interesting. Very interesting.
And they wanted to get this in place by December 2025. And what is the exemption? Joy kind of referenced it. It's going to be temporary relief from existing security rules while the SEC develops tailored crypto regulations. So they said they're going to be looking with how to deal with crypto and use it within the walled gardens of the SEC. And they want to enable companies some flexibility when launching products. More Bitcoin lending, maybe, as a result of all this? Probably not. I know that they did launch the Project Crypto back in July to help modernize the security regulations around digital assets. I love this stuff. It's all just buzzwords. We're just waiting for on-chain and DeFi to get thrown around just to maybe some Web3, toss that in there. But really, if you look at it, they say that this Project Crypto, they want to make it so there's exemptions for activities like ICOs, airdrops, network rewards,
All the
and
stuff
other
that was
things.
illegal like a year ago. It's now going to be no roadblocks. Just go nuts.
We looked at the previous dude was there, didn't launch or didn't approve the ETF for a very long time, well after other countries have it, like Canada. He was very conservative with his approach with respect to Bitcoin and digital assets. Here, fuck, balls to the wall, man. Just anything goes. Whatever. If they want to do it, all the more power to them. I don't agree with it, but if they want to give people an opportunity to get wrecked in the process, fuck it. Let them get wrecked.
Yeah.
Buy
I do
Bitcoin,
think that's
I would suggest, but if you don't,
same. That's the right
run a
approach.
risk.
Like
Fuck you.
I do think that people should have to learn the hard way, but there's going to be a lot of people learning the hard way if this because the sort of tide around this is rising. Everyone is going to want to get into this stuff over the next little while, especially as this UK story continues to gain traction. I think a lot of people are going to realize, like, oh shit, I can't be in fiat currencies. I have to be in XYZ token. So what's the best one to buy? Well, it's the one that's just about to launch in this Telegram group or this pump and dump. Like, there's going to be people losing their shirts left, right, and center. So I don't know. The question I guess I have now is, what is the role for the SEC if not something like this? Like, then what are they doing?
Rubber stamping,
basically, right?
Come
like
with an idea, approved.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Dr. Nick, giving prescriptions out. It's crazy that this is going to be the standard now. But I honestly don't know if, like I said, if they're not doing this, then what are they doing? Heaven only knows, because it seems to me like you're losing grip on what was a part of the crypto culture that was rampant with fraud, and it hasn't slowed down. If anything, it's speeding up and becoming more prevalent. And this is the time you're going to take a complete back seat. I don't know, man. I don't know.
But at least you can get wrecked.
There'll be a lot. It's good content for us. There's going to be a new story every week about someone losing their house or whatever on, poop coin, whatever's out there. What is it? What I wonder? Like, what is the responsibility of something like a company like Discord now? The SEC saying this stuff is allowed, but does Discord have any liability for these groups, the pump and dump groups? Does Twitter have liability for the group DMs where people are about to rip people off? I don't know.
Why should they?
I'm not sure.
They work hand in hand now.
I guess. Yeah.
I personally hope they approve some like incredible longs, like 100x or 1000x, just something that you could just put on YouTube or Twitch or something and monetize the fuck out of that and watch somebody just get absolutely wrecked when the price of Bitcoin goes down $5.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see. Boomdust is asking, we'll be talking about your buddy Luke.
No, I mean his channels were all banned for a short time. I don't wish bad on anybody. Like, the guy did just get married and apparently has a kid on the way. I wish him the best in that regard. I don't think anybody should have to worry about putting food on the table. But I mean, to pretend you don't see a pattern emerging with the bans,
it's a matter of time before we get it. But
we're not going to because we don't sell false advertising, right? Like, I do think also that there's some level of bot buying involved, if I had to guess. I don't know to exactly what extent, but again, I've talked about this before. I'll just mention it quickly. YouTube doesn't have much of an incentive to ban channels like that, even if they are buying bots, because views count. And YouTube, as we've discussed other places, Access of Easy, for example, YouTube is thinking now a lot more about how can we boost our income here, because ads on the search bar or search results are no longer viable. So, there's a lot to be said about YouTube and the current state of YouTube and what's rewarded by the algorithm, but I'm not the guy to ask about it. We don't get any views on YouTube. Basically, I would guess 97% of our plays come from audio. And, that we put out shorts that I make with AI, and sometimes they are a little sloppy, though not the most sloppy. We might get 150, 200,000 shorts views, sometimes more in a month. But, the point for us on the shorts is like, can we convert those into long form views? It's difficult because we're not making clickbait material. If you tune into CBP, you really get the best experience if you watch the full hour and a half. Whereas these other channels put out just garbage every day, where a guy is pretending to be surprised and then he reads an article while you look at the article on the screen. Like, that's not good content, but it does grab low IQ listeners and viewers, which our show does not.
This question from Torup, I don't understand it.
Is there a Bitcoin drum co yet to advertise the drum circle? I think that might be about Truth and Reconciliation Day. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Is that might be just my own sick mind? Maybe that was off color. Let's go on to let's go on to the other side of the store here or the show because we are an hour in. So
yeah, we're at that mark. We got to that.
Let's so yeah, if you're on video, stay with us. If you're live, if you're on Twitter too, I mean, I can see there's always a couple hundred people watching, which I appreciate. Stay with us, and if you're on audio, come back on Wednesday for the rest.
Don't be a bot.
Don't be a bot. I should have mentioned off the top that I'm releasing the show that Mark did with us on Wednesday this week, audio and video. It's a really good hour. Mark is so sharp, man, so sharp. He's always thinking about what's next, and I had a really good time talking to him. I know you guys like when he comes on. People always say that the shows that Mark does are really good, so I'm happy that he was able to come by and rip on with me.
You know what I'll say? Like, he's really humble.
Yeah,
like when you chat with him, and you meet him like in person, he's a down to earth dude.
Totally.
I don't want to go any further than that, but just really cool.
Yeah.
UK identity cards. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Don't you think this is a big story?
I think, we talked about it already. What else could you say? By the way, Switzerland approved it like on a referendum, 50.5 to 49.5%. Looks like there's a majority of people out.
People are dumb. They're dumb. They don't know what they're signing up for. Even though Keir is saying it out loud in some of these interviews, like we have to think upstream to climate change and poverty. Like fuck we do. And when he's talking about every UK citizen has the responsibility to stand up to injustices around the world, like, no, I fucking don't. I don't have any responsibility for the injustices in Botswana or Iran or North Korea. Like, I don't give a fuck about any of that. These guys this is a dicey path to go down. And it's amazing listening to the BBC interview people on the street and no one seems to care. Like they're totally lost about what this means. They're totally lost that people think it's like there's going to be like a digital ID card or something. Oh, I'll just show them my digital ID. Like, no, man, it's going to be an app on your phone. That app on your phone, you're going to need it to go on the internet. You're going to need it to tweet. You're going to need it to send messages. You're going to need to use a bank, go to a restaurant, go to a gym, go to a movie. It
could be a card too. There could be a QR card.
Maybe. But the big
NFC
thing
chip that's on it.
I think it'll be an app on your phone. We'll see. There's a number of different avenues, but the big thing, Len, that I don't think people understand, because they're like, why would he do this now? And I thought about this a little bit over the weekend. The reason they have to do this now is because the boomers aren't dead. And if the boomers die before you try and vote something like this in, it'll get crushed. Everyone our age will crush it, right? And so the under 40s for sure will just vote this down, 75% to 25%, no matter what. And so you have to push this stuff through by referendum, and then you can at least say it was democratic and we asked people and it was a proper process. And the boomers love it because
I'm not so certain
I'm
broken down by age like that.
I'm 100% sure.
There's a lot of
no
people,
proof, but I'm telling you, I'm sure.
The way I'm looking at this, it's almost like on a political spectrum. The people on a certain side of the political spectrum is probably more keen on having this thing rolled out and being issued it. And the younger you are, you're on that side of the political spectrum as well. They'll be happy to do, and you could sell it.
I mean, it doesn't skew that way here, right? Like younger voters are conservative here, so
right.
And so are they conservative everywhere else? Like the conservative voter doesn't want. I don't think that's true. I don't know.
It's that's the way.
And don't forget, Farage in the UK is projected to win the next election in a landslide. So
who is he? Which part is he?
He's basically the Conservative Party. He's actually further right than the Conservatives are. Yeah. So I mean,
is it a different party than the Conservative Party?
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 parties over there.
Because they're the Liberal Democrats, which is like centrists.
Yeah, Labor, which
right now it's in. Yeah. They have the. Is it progressive, conservative, or conservative?
I forget, but like Farage's party is like, yeah, they're like viewed as far right. Starmer calls them far right on TV.
I'm looking at the people that straddle the left side will be more than happy to have this type of thing, and it's easy to sell it for them. Look, you could say it's a way to have people pay their taxes that they should be paying, and you can just give them.
I mean,
and,
they'll
oh yeah, I
spin all
love
sorts
it.
of ways.
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
can do it, let's have these fuckers pay that they're skirting the system, that are doing shit by cash under the table and all this.
I love how
Fuck
Starmer,
that.
the way they're framing it is it's going to help with migration, illegal migration. We have to stop the boats by giving them voter ID. I said to Mark, I'll spoil it now. Like people, Starmer talking about how people are sick of the immigrant crime, immigrant illegal jobs, immigrant this, immigrant that. And I just think like if an immigrant is waving a knife at a daycare, like is pulling out the digital ID card going to stop him? Like if he's already landed on your shores, then the digital ID card doesn't mean anything. And I'll also note that the UK has tons of different forms of ID, the same way we do, the same way America does, and other European countries do. So this, Starmer on TV talking about, oh, we need this. Everyone needs to have this ID to work. Like people already have ID and are working. And I will agree with Taz in the chat. I think either party, Farage may not go for it right away, but directionally, you need to understand that, and this is in the sovereign individual. Okay, so forgive me if you've heard this before. Directionally, you need to understand that tax revenue is fleeting, and capital leaves, is borderless now in a way that it's never been, and so they need a way to stop you from doing things if you are not cooperating with the regime. And this is the way they will do it. You won't be able to get on a boat. You won't be able to rent a car. You won't be able to, you could envision a world where you go to get in your electric car and it won't turn on because your digital ID doesn't, you have a strike or something. And I just don't understand how this is going to do anything but give people dystopian nightmares when it launches. Because that's what it is. Like, there's no really two ways about it.
I have nothing to add.
Yeah, I hate this so much. I hate this so much. And Carney, by the way, Prime Minister Carney, not really doing a lot to say we're not going to do it. So Estonia has this already. Len mentioned Switzerland, right? You said.
No, they had a referendum about that today. Now it was just a very slight majority. Doesn't mean they're going to go ahead with it.
But still, yeah, like that's carte blanche, I think, in a lot of ways.
Potentially,
yeah.
We'll see. It's just
it's
fun to watch this play out.
You need to have. I'm going to tell you the things you need to have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have an income stream that is not related to the government banking system. Bitcoin. You need to have self-custody Bitcoin that you can use to make purchases and receive payments. Okay. You need to have a currency that doesn't require you to transfer a bank account, do an EFT into another currency when you leave. You need to have these things. And if you don't have them yet, I mean, if you're listening to this show, you got them. But if you don't have them yet, I question your sense of self-preservation at this point. You can see the pot of water is getting so fucking hot and people are still wondering if it's time to jump out yet. Like, yeah, it's time to jump out. It's time to jump out. You should be.
What's the best path forward?
The pot. You got to have Bitcoin for sure. That's number one. Number two, I would say is, if you're thinking about starting a business, domicile it in the US is what I would say.
You think that the US is going to be a safe haven?
Yeah.
Considering now we have Trump in there.
Yeah.
And the pendulum may swing after the next election.
States' rights are too hard to usurp. The U.S. is truly unique in its democratic model, and I mean the other question too is like, is the states going to be able to escape this this tendency, like these overreach tendencies? Even if they don't escape it entirely, you still have to be somewhere on God's green earth, and so why not be in the place that has the least amount of problems when it comes to this stuff, right? That's the answer. I think that people.
I don't think there's a right answer. I think it's if that works for you, all the more power. Because home could be anywhere you want it to be.
Yeah, I don't know that that's actually a good answer though. Like, can be anywhere, but
it could be anywhere, man. Wherever you are happy in that place, and you're able to do whatever it is that you want to do.
That's what I mean. Like, I think the states is going to be that place.
All the more power to you.
Yeah, I think the states is going to be that place. If I was starting a business now, I would domicile it in the U.S. or try to.
I wonder what's the legality of that. Do you have to have?
I don't know, but I will be finding out. I will be finding out for sure.
Do it before it's too late.
It's funny. It's funny. Like
I've been banging this fucking war drum for a long time.
I'll tell you guys a story. My wife has wanted to move to Dundas for a long time, so we moved here a few years ago. And my dad's girlfriend is a realtor. She's our realtor, and has done a few property transactions with us over the years at this point. And every time we do something in the house, they'll come over for dinner or whatever, and they'll comment on the new bathroom, new floors, new whatever. Like we're putting a fireplace in the living room right now. And it's like, the question is always the same. Like, is this going to be good for resale of the house from them? And I say the same thing to them all the time. If I ever get in a position where I need to sell this house, I will move before the house is sold because things will have been so bad. Like we talked about, in the past, right? I hope that I continue to be in a position where if I had to get up and go, I could do it without too much friction, leave the house behind and deal with the transaction from abroad. Because I don't want to get stuck behind exit taxes and God knows what the fuck else is going to come down the pipeline here in the next, 5 or 10 years. But if you're Canadian, between the interim head of the PBO going on every station that will have him and telling people the sky is falling, to the mayor of Toronto saying that unfortunately, if the government can't come up with another $100 million for the city, they're gonna have to raise your property taxes to pay for migrants and asylum seekers, to Canada healthcare being number 3 in spending and number 1,000 in outcomes, to public schools in major Western democracies trying to ban tutoring because it's making kids too smart for the teachers. Like at some point, okay, you have to be willing to say, we're leaving tomorrow, we'll sell the house from abroad and get whatever we get for it, but we have to go now. And I think it's getting that point for a lot of people. It is for me. I'm starting to think about this more and more, much to my wife's chagrin. But I think that like you can only take so much more. At this point, I have a young daughter, and I'll have to make a choice before she goes to school, right? Do I want to be forced to ship her off to Estrogen Elementary because it's the only option in my area, and if I ship her somewhere else, it's like I got to pay some extra fee or donate enough money to get a bench named after me or something like that? Or do I go somewhere where people are just aligned with my attitude, my politics, my way of thinking about everything, as basic as like who should be playing sports against who, and how much taxes should I pay for migrants from Northern Africa or wherever else? Like, the answer to these things to me is obvious. And I know it's obvious to a lot of other people too. And I think that the more extreme the conditions get in these segmented areas, whether it's, Ontario or Alberta or whatever, you will find that the remnant find each other. And it feels to me like there's something going on in that regard. And so, to answer your question, that's a long way of saying, I think the States would be the best place to find like-minded people. And I just hope that it stays that way, into the future.
Yeah, nothing is static, and you can only try to make a decision based on the information that's available to you at the time. Yeah. So if things change, because variables change,
agility, and you say it all the time, like being agile, it's among the most important things.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the day when I could say goodbye. It's gonna happen. Whenever it happens, it happens. The problem is I still have family roots here. And as long as you got aging people that's surrounding you, it's hard to move. But we'll see who goes first. Maybe me, maybe them. If it's me, then at least I'm untethered at that point.
Yeah,
I have no worries if I'm buried 6 feet under.
Yeah,
at that point, fuck that. I could leave the Bitcoin to somebody else. Canada Post is on strike. Love this stuff.
Love it.
Love this stuff. Yeah, it's no more door-to-door delivery for like the 4 million people or so.
Should they abandon door-to-door? You think?
Yeah.
They're losing $10 million a day, according to Prime Minister today.
It's not all as a result of this. It's a part of this. So if they could save, say, $10,000 a day by getting rid of the 4 million people that are getting door-to-door delivery, all the more power. Just use those community boxes and just run with that. I understand it may put some people out, but you adjust. It's good for people to get out, go for a short walk, pick up your stuff. But I read some interesting stories. One person, they were waiting for the ashes of a loved one that was shipped by Canada Post, and it's now stuck in transit somewhere, and it's going to be stuck until this thing is resolved. That's the bullshit that goes on with this.
How is it possible that after the last strike, these guys haven't looked at their PR nightmare and figured out that maybe if you're going to wildcat, which this is a wildcat strike, if you're going to wildcat, then maybe finish transporting and delivering the stuff that's already in transit and just stop taking new parcels?
Yes. Or do this. This is an alternative. Say, look, 2 weeks time from today,
Yeah.
we're going to go on strike.
Yeah.
It's telling the world going on strike in 2 weeks time. If you submit something, that's your choice. But 2 weeks time, we are going to go on fucking strike. Then at least you give enough of people can make plans. They can adjust, right? And if they don't, they fuck them. But that's the way it should have been. Like, rather than all of a sudden, I don't think they're going to get much sympathy from the general public from this. They've put out a lot of people, businesses that are relying on shit, individuals that are. I don't know how many people are still getting paid checks from the government for like the old age security or Canada
in the mail. God, I can't imagine. It's got to be.
It's got to be few, but you know,
no, I think it's
they're
probably a number. Yeah,
you think so? So then, if it's even bigger than that, I'm explaining it's even bigger problem. So they're they gotta fucking make do somehow. This sucks, and this is it kind of reminds me like history repeats itself. It's not quite the same level, but Russia had a revolution a little over 100 years ago, and if you understand the reason why, the government, they were out of touch with the commoner, sending people to fucking war. Tons of people died. It took them away from the farmlands and stuff. Strikes were happening all over the place. People were just fucked, and then they tried to do some sort of protest. They were shot upon. Like there's some similarities here. You see that's going on. Things aren't operating here the way they should be operating.
Yeah.
And this is just another example. What do they want from this? They want higher wages, better working conditions. They're not going to get anything from. They're not going to have their demands met. They're going to lose out. I think in the end, they're going to have less people working for them. They're probably going to get a raise. I think
they turned down 13%. Right? Is that the number?
When is the last time they got a raise? Is it 10 years ago, or am I wrong?
I don't know.
Hypothetically, say it's 10 years ago.
Yeah,
hypothetically. Okay. And I'm going to go on this, so don't fucking shoot me. Then they deserve a raise, because considering what has happened in the past 10 years, especially the last 5, you can't live on 2015 salary today. So they deserve some raise. What is it? I don't know.
Shout out to Lover Fighter Writer, the stray Rumble commenter. Love to see that. Yeah, listen, the Canada Post business model clearly is broken, but knowing a few posties like I do, one thing I hear all the time is that the big cost, and this is the case for a lot of companies, the big cost is where? It's in administration. You got 3 supervisors for every 20 people, and it's like, okay, do we need to pay all these people $150K a year? I don't think we do.
Those supervisors are not the only ones delivering mail.
Yeah, they're not delivering. That's the problem, right? They're doing
something behind the scenes.
Sorting
they are.
Well, having cigarettes. I don't know. What are they doing?
No, I bet you they are going through like those checks, like the ones that are supposed to go to people, like you mentioned, and just pulling them aside, and then because they're getting requests from their members of parliament to get shit done. So that's
it's possible. I overall, I don't have much sympathy for the postal workers as a unit, but the individuals, like, they're working hard delivering mail, and whether you agree that the mail is a value add thing, that's their job. They're doing it, and they're doing it for wages that maybe you're right, Len, are 10 years old at this point. Like, man, if you didn't get a raise since 2020, you'd be in deep shit.
Let me see. Let me take a peek. When was the last?
Because they were just legislated back during the strike, right? Last year or earlier this year, I guess, right?
Yeah. So it says here, Canada Post didn't get a raise since 2018, according to this Reddit post.
Damn.
So
that's tough.
See, if that's the case, and
that's tough.
I have nothing to prove this to be right, but I'm going to assume it is right. Yeah, they deserve something. Whatever that number is, like, it's hard to live on 2018 salary in 2025, and it just gets worse every fucking day that passes. I feel bad for them in a way, but the way they're doing this is wrong. Joey, I have, I guess, a couple more stories before we go to the
everyone's favorite
Brampton,
segment,
versus Hamilton. So we'll do like one interesting one. The firearms, the assault style firearms, the compensation program. Yeah, this is interesting. So like, it's
this is the buyback. Yeah, the buyback. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's apparently 2,500 makes and models that the government has classified as assault type weapons. They're up for compensation that you could give them back and get some cash as a return. I think it's October 2026 is when they're able to do this, and that after that point, then they could potentially be in hot water.
It's not potentially. It's you're going to jail because you're a criminal at that point. They try not to say it. This like the two MPs, Gary and the woman whose name I don't know. But they try and dance around it. I just want to point out here, whether it's the digital ID, the gun buyback, like these are programs that have been in the works for a long time, presumably. And the one thing that's like completely baffling to me is how poorly prepared the supporters of these policies and programs are when they go on TV to defend them from the media scrum. How is it possible these guys don't have a good answer for these questions about, well, will you become a criminal if you don't turn your gun in? Like, we're not going to go door to door and knock to take your guns. But yes, you will go to jail if you don't turn your gun. Like, okay, well, like why? Why would I don't know.
Did you hear about that leaked audio? Did you hear it?
Of course, Gary's tenant there. Outstanding.
Yeah,
that is elite. That is elite level stuff. That guy, his life is probably over now, but still a great league.
What can I say about that? Okay, let's let's leave it at that. Okay, well, I guess we'll end this segment of the show. No, we're not going to go to the Hamilton Brampton man yet. Let's bring an acceleration story just to end this all.
Sure.
Just strap the fuck in, Joey. We're not buckle up, do whatever the fuck, because we're about to speed up here. Yeah, great story. In Quebec, there's a recent case of a polyamorous relationship. 3 men.
It's a throuple. Yeah.
They are known as a throuple. Yeah, they're throupling. They want to adopt a 3-year-old girl, and they took this to court to be settled.
Yeah.
2 men are officially registered as the girl's parents, while the third is seeking full recognition under Quebec's revised civil code, which now accommodates multi-parent families. So a Superior Court ruled earlier this year, Quebec, that affirmed children can have more than 2 legal parents. It's not the first. We also had a notable case in Newfoundland. Saw a judge declare 3 adults, that was in that case 2 men, 1 woman, are the legal parents of a child born in a relationship in 2018. And they said it was decided because that was the best interest of the child. And they noted the child was born into a stable and loving family, and denying dual parental parentage would not serve the child's well-being. There was also another case in BC, 2021, ordered that a second mother in a polyamorous triad be declared a legal parent for a child who was the biological. So, yes. Apparently at the time, they said there was a gap in the family law, which was not written to contemplate multi-parent families. Of course, when it was written, never fucking thought about that. And yeah, they had the best child's interest at heart there. So yeah, you can now have a kid with 3 parents. In this case, the Quebec couple, throuple. 3 guys. They got ownership.
How many parents does every kid have? How many parents are required for a kid?
You need a mother to give birth and a father to give something to the mother.
That's right. Yeah. So when they say they want 3 people recognized as parents, like what am I supposed to make? This is an unnatural request, and it's one that's, again, it's like they're pretending, and they want the courts to recognize that they're pretending something. I disagree with this. Send all these people to labor camps until they smarten up.
This is a truly accelerationist. Now, because the courts have ruled this.
Why? Yeah, go ahead.
I think it would have to go to Supreme Court.
It's going to, right? For sure. Why should these lower courts decide? Is what I was going to say. Why should they even have? They should just go, forget it. I'm not touching this. But now, stick to letting out 30-time arsonists and 30-time assaulters, not deciding whether or not you can, a marriage and a child needs to have a cuck chair parent recognized on the birth certificate. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
this is truly accelerationist.
Why do you think it's
Well, you have to-
accelerationist?
It just, I don't have to get into it. Why? It's fucking self-explanatory. When I had to get documentation to prove parentage, because I had to do that for some documentation that I was applying for, it showed parentage, and it showed the documents were clear. Long form birth certificate. It said father, mother, name, place of birth. That's it. That's all they had. And there's no third option. That's all it had.
Thruple, couple, thruple.
I didn't have it on the document that I was born. Now, granted, that was almost 50 years ago, but it was clear as day. It was clear as day. So, like, this is truly accelerationist. This is where we are at. I'm going to give this a shout out to Wedge for the Singapore dollar. I hold this out to the show all the time.
You know what? There's I'm going to be careful here not to get myself in trouble. There should be social consequences for stuff like this, right? Like, I'm not saying if you want to do this and you think it should be legal to have like 3 parents, all of them the same sex, for a kid. There's a lot of research that shows that this is detrimental to child development. It may be unpopular research, but it is, research all the same from institutions that have great reputations for this stuff. At some point, I have to be able to say as a parent, I don't want my kids hanging out with that kid, unfortunately, because I can't get behind this idea of parenting. I think that's fair. But the problem you run into is this, like, this sort of bake the cake moment where groups who feel they're disadvantaged don't like that legally you can not hang out with them or not, like I said, not make them the cake or whatever. And so they pursue this avenue where suddenly whether or not you include them in your private life is a legal matter. And that, like, to me, if you keep allowing this, that's the direction this goes in. We see this all the time, whether it's in, gyms and schools or whatever else. Like, you're going to go down this road you don't want to go down, where suddenly my private life is only as private as it's allowed to be by the state. Am I going to face punishment from a school, for example, for not inviting? I think about this all the time, by the way, because I have a little one now. And, there are people in my neighborhood who have kids around the same age. And when I see them, I think, like, okay, this person has, a 35 BMI. Like, I'm never going to let my daughter hang out with their kid. The kid is going to be annoying and is going to be poorly raised. The parents are impulsive, whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that. I see parents who have like sloppy shit all over their porches. And it's like, yeah, okay, you have a kid, it's busy, but like, my porch is not sloppy. And so that colors the way I think about you. Like, if my daughter says I want to go hang out with little, Carly down the road, and her parents have, an unkept front yard to the point where it's like, bordering on a bylaw call, am I going to let her go there? Probably not. And you can say whatever you want about that style of parenting, but why should I pretend the apple falls too far from the tree? Unless, of course, none of the people living at the house are actually their parents, and it's a throuple and they're, all just making it up. But this is the social consequences is something that has to come back. And, colloquially, we say bring back bullying, but ultimately this is sort of in the same vein. Why should I have to associate with these people and that style of parenting, eating, dieting, speaking? If I hear people swearing a lot, we swear on this show a little bit, but if I hear people, swearing, I think too much, or watching things on TV I think are inappropriate or whatever, like, I don't want to send my kid there. Your kids are like sponges. And I think a lot of people now are starting to realize that they have choices in association, and maybe they're going to take advantage of it. And by the way, I don't want to hear people saying, oh, that's homophobic. It has nothing to do with homophobia. Has nothing to do with same-sex relationships. Has everything to do with the way of thinking. We need the state to recognize that we are a throuple parent. Like, I think that's dumb. And I don't want my kid hanging out with people who think this way.
The way somebody put it, and I agree with the way he said it, if 2 people want to get married, let them.
Yeah.
Like, let them fucking get married.
Yeah, who cares?
No fucking problem. The way he said it is, if they want to be as unhappy as the other 50% of couples out there that they have every right to be as unhappy as them and go through the process. They can go nuts.
It is funny too, by the way, right? Like the
no issues with
that chart you always see about the divorce rates. It's like female partnerships at the highest divorce rates, followed by male female, and then the lowest divorce rate male. So the problem is
really.
The problem is fickle women. That's the issue.
Just go.
That's the implication, anyway. Yeah.
So I have no issues with anybody wanting to get married.
Do whatever you want.
Have fucking fun, man. Like
everyone's like at this point. Like I was born in the late '80s, and so like I have gay friends, men and women, and like I don't think any less of them because I think you can't control that. I always say the same thing. I can't say for sure when I started to realize I like girls. And so my assumption is that these people they don't know when they started to like the same sex. Fine. I can't do anything about that. You can't do anything about that. But like I said, I do think this throuple thing and pursuing a legal course of action to get that's stupid. And so, I think that's dumb. I don't like this idea and I don't like these people. That's all there is to it. So there you go.
All right, let's go to the Hamilton versus Brampton man. You said you're going to be seeing.
Yeah, brought to you by 256 Heat. So pour one out for my minor. I must have done something when I was switching phones and turned the fan speed down, and I realized on Saturday morning that the fan was not running, and I never turned it off on purpose anyway. And so Twan was nice enough to call me on Saturday morning and walk me through like how to tell if I'd fried the board, and I had fried the boards. So I'm going to go tomorrow to his house and he's going to swap them out for me. The lesson here is when you're switching phones, make sure that you're paying attention to the settings in the apps as you're installing and reinstalling and resetting things up, because looking back, that's probably what happened. But all the same, looking forward to getting this thing back, up and running tomorrow. Twan, you guys have been buying these things like crazy. If you haven't bought one yet, think about doing it soon, because they're moving like hotcakes. And if you buy one that's an S19 model and tell him we sent you, he'll give you 5% off the purchase price, which is sick. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, they're great for 256heat.com. It's great for heating up areas of your home that are cool, and you're going to be heating up this winter, like garage, for instance, or a particular area of your home. And by doing that, you'll be earning sats at the same time. So you're not just heating it up, you're earning sats. So check it out, 256heat.com, and they're quiet as can be. So you could have them in your bedroom and you won't even notice it. Joey would have it behind him, but right now it looks like it's fried.
It's been running every week since I got it, but
nobody would have known it's running or not running. Like
when Mark came over on Friday, he asked if that was it. He couldn't believe it. He's like, that's crazy. I was telling him how much is earned compared to how much is cost. And I think he's probably thinking about getting one too.
All right, let's talk about the Hamilton versus Brampton man segment. You could play along at home, and maybe you could be as gifted as Joy at picking out who is the Hamilton versus Brampton man.
My record is 4-1, I think, right?
Something like that. So I proposed two different stories. One of them, of course, is somebody from Hamilton and somebody from Brampton. And you got to decide who is who. So let's start off with this drunk guy, and he was trying to make a getaway in a cab while sitting on the driver, police say. A man is facing several charges after trying to steal a cab while drunk by sitting on top of the driver who was still inside, the police say. And according to police report, the police were called to disturbance just before 1 a.m. on Friday. So this guy was out late partying it up. And when they got there, witnesses identified an assaultive male leaving a cab. Police then pulled over the cab a short distance away, and that's where things went haywire. Police started to approach the cab, and the suspect jumped from the rear seat into the front passenger seat, making verbal threats to the officers. And then the suspect jumped on top and sat on top of the cabbie while attempting to steal a car. The cabbie struggled himself free from underneath the suspect while trying to get the keys out of the car. And the police were able to get on top of it, quickly could control the man and arrest him. The cab driver was uninjured, but the man inside, well, he ended up with minor injuries through the altercation. 33-year-old man with no fixed address was charged with assault, mischief under $5,000.
Shouldn't have told me that. Okay.
Vehicle theft and failing to comply with his probation. So he's been at this before. So good for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's man number one. Man number two was charged in alleged kidnapping after posing as a law enforcement. Interesting. The man was charged in a recent alleged kidnapping, posing as a law enforcement official, and he was threatening to arrest a woman, police said. And he approached the female earlier this year in February. And the alleged suspect inquired about the woman's immigration status, demanding appropriate documentation, and threatened to arrest her. Police said the woman was then escorted to her residence to gather the documentation, where the male suspect, who was posing as a law enforcement official, told her that the family would need to go to the police station and money would be required for her release. And the woman's family contacted the authorities when she left with the suspect. Can't believe she did that. Authorities were able to locate the victim and the accused a short time later, so she was not physically injured. This dude, 32-year-old, was arrested and faces several charges, including kidnapping, impersonating a police officer, theft, and 4 counts of fraud. He was held in custody for bail hearing. And they say anybody with information about this, because it's not the first time he's done this, it looks like, please come forward, because they want to get some more information. So that's your 2 stories, one being Brampton, one being Hamilton. And let's see if you could pick which one's which.
This is your best one yet, I think. This one's really hard, because there's a couple things that normally would tell me, like, okay, this sounds like a Brampton man. People know what that means when you're a Brampton man. No fixed address does not sound like a Brampton man, because if all these Brampton men had no fixed address, then real estate prices wouldn't be so fucking high in Brampton. But also, it seems unlikely that someone would be dumb enough to follow a Brampton man impersonating a cop. Like, it's hard for the same Brampton man to impersonate a cop. So I think my instinct tells me that the first
What's your gut? Go with your guy.
The no fixed address guy is the Hamilton man, and the cop is the Brampton man.
You're right. See, go with your gut.
Okay.
Go with your gut. Yeah.
That was good. That was the hardest one yet. There's a couple of good ones in there. Plus, like the first one, the altercation, like the guy doesn't seem to know how to fight or steal something. And you would think if you're like a Canadian trying to steal a cab, you'd know how to do it. And the Brampton
You may want to pull up the story. I'd put it in the private chat about the it shows a picture of the dude.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Let's see. Banger. The guy's name is Manjinder Kalra. Oh God.
Put that up. Put that up, man.
Absolute honker. Okay, hold on. Let's throw it up here. This is great. I love this segment. I can't believe Tuan is sponsoring this segment, by the way. There he is. There's Baljinder, whatever his fucking name is. What is it? What did I say it was?
I don't
know. Manjinder. It's actually people gender here in Canada. Manjinder. You have to change that. So there you go. Yeah. Great stuff. So what about the other guy? What's the other guy look like? Does he have a picture?
No picture.
Oh,
unfortunately, no picture. Damn. So it's you got to draw your own mental image what he looks like. So
yeah, I'll get right on that. That's it for tonight.
That's it.
Yeah, great show. Thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate you guys hanging out as always. Enjoy your Truth and Reconciliation Day tomorrow, and until next time, take care of yourselves.
And don't be a Brampton man.